Well, it's one of those live streams, and of course, it happened in Second Life. It is Friday, October the 3rd, 2025, and 9 p.m. I'm not here to call out anyone. I'm not here to go into depth about a particular situation that has forced me to do this live stream. But what happened has really affected me personally. So much so that all I've been doing all day is pretty much sleeping just to process all the absolute, well, that came out of left field type of thing. This has truly affected me, and the two that I've shared this with within the group in world, it's also affected them as well. This is really important for me to speak about, not only because it's for the good of the uh, group, perhaps, but mainly for my own sake. So I will describe what happened without, of course, revealing any personal information. And let me do a sound check because, you know, there's other people out there that complain, oh, can't hear you. Well, guess what? Why don't you turn up your volume? I sound fine to me, right? I woke up this morning to some offlines, okay? Nobody likes to wake up to offlines when they log into Second Life, you know? Not these kind of offlines that I'm about to say. I will read these off. But before I do, it was a new person that showed great interest for the in-world group, okay? Now, some of this I will have to skip over, but at the same time, I need to make sure that it makes sense. And I'm doing all this live. I don't have a script, so please bear with me if there's a long pause or if it doesn't make sense to you right away. This is all live. This is me speaking out and outwardly processing what has greatly affected me. Not in the sense of it's not hurting my feelings. No, it's beyond that. The words that this person chose to use with such a widespread uh, detachment. Uh, well, it's had consequences. There are two other people in the group that I've talked about this with. And yeah, one showed concern and the other one was highly pissed. Words affect people. And this new person, they had said that, they had been silently lurking and watching the channel, for a long time. So much so that they actually understood and knew all of the channel lore, right? And, we welcome him into the in world group, and he's showing future, investment, excited, talking about how there's a lot of memories and SL and just really, really gung ho. Well, these offlines will show that there was a drastic change. But that's the gist of the background of what I'm going to get into. This was in regards to a upcoming group meeting. Are fine with me, whichever works best for the rest of the group. Currently, I'm able to be on standby so I can log into Second Life if needed. That might change, but right now I don't have much else going on. I will say, though, that I get incredibly lethargic sometimes. These are all offlines, okay? So there will be moments where I'm very active and moments where I'm not as active and just watch the channel here and there. See, notice there's already a change. He went from being like gung ho to starting to detach. Now, I was going through my emails yesterday, and he had sent an offline that I had missed, right? And so when I read it, I had responded to that particular offline, and um, in a gist, it was about. Mm, hold on for a second. Wait a minute. I'm going to go in the blank because I don't want to mess it up. So remember, this is all live. This is not scripted. And I'm not enjoying doing this, but I can't I can't hold this in anymore because it's truly affected me. And if you don't if you don't want to listen to it, then well, you don't have to. You could just go away, right? And I've turned comments off because outside of the core group, I can't trust none of y'all to be adult about anything anymore. And this person is a prime example as to why people who lurk are, well, yeah, I think they're actually dangerous. It's not healthy. Right. So I'm going to go back to, okay, hold on. I'm looking for it. I'm still looking. Mm. So this was on the 2nd, right? Today's the 3rd. The October the 2nd was yesterday, right? So this is after that I had found that like an offline from him that I had missed, right? And sometimes offlines, you can get them in your email, but they don't show up in World and vice versa because, SL, whatever. All right, so, and he wasn't online, so it became an offline for him. This is what I said. I was going through my emails and read an offline from you that you left yesterday. You said, There will be moments where you're active and moments where you're not as active, and just watch the channel here and there. And my reply was, you know, and I also told him, I understand those moments of being active and then not, and watching the channel here and there. I understand that too. Friendship isn't like turning on and off a faucet, though. Life is a mixture of discovering yourself and doing your own thing, whilst being available for other things that can contribute to your life in the way best for you and also benefit others, right? And then that is where I get into the slew of offlines that I received from this person this morning. So this is a continuation of the offlines that I received this morning from this person. So there will be moments when I'm very active and moments where I'm not as active and just watch the channel here and there. I sent that message because I've come to my own conclusion that Second Life is a virtual world best suited for the older generations, and I believe they are the ones who will decide the fate of this historic social experiment. Gen Z may join in, but I don't think we're going to be capable of reigniting new interest into an increasingly aging product such as Second Life. That's why I'm only going to chip in if there's something interesting going on that I'd like to be involved with or have something to say. I've moved on from, I'm not going to say the platform, but a different platform. And I've explored my possibilities with Second Life, but it all looks to me it's signing up for another game of sunk cost fallacy. I've already had that with, and then he named another platform, and I don't think I need another. If something catches my eye, then I'll make an effort to participate. But for now, I'm comfortable just being a selective lurker. Group meetings are important though, so I'm still on board to attend whenever it's best for everyone else. Sorry, I forgot that I was still in the black when I was reading those offlines, but I'm not going to reread those offlines again just to so people can see my lips move. I'm not going to do that. For those that may not understand or may not want to understand human behavior or the patterns of human behavior, you know, maybe the ones that are so progressive in their thinking that they might view this as, well, it just sounds like maybe he's figured out it's not for him. It goes far, far beyond that. And if you're that type of person that think this is okay, then you yourself has you yourself have problems because this is not okay. I'm going to break this down. For one, um, saying that they have explored their possibilities with Second Life. This person, they've been in Second Life for less than 4 months. They had a previous account years ago and they tried it. When they came back, there is no way, it is not possible to explore all the possibilities that Second Life has to offer within within such a short time span of say 3 months. And to say that Second Life looks like to me a signing up for another game of sunk cost fallacy. Do you know what sunk cost fallacy is? Do you know? I would hope so, because it's very simple. However, I realize that some people may just not understand it. May not, it may be a new term. So here we go. Sunk cost fallacy is a cognitive bias that makes you feel as if you should continue pouring money, time, or effort into a situation since you've already sunk so much into it already. This perceived sunk cost makes it difficult to walk away from the situation since you don't want to see your resources wasted, right? Okay. Now, if we just think about that and broaden that a little bit further beyond Second Life, what also is a sunk cost fallacy? Life, the physical world. Like something as simple as like a movie or a book, that you you didn't like it because, you know, you didn't like it, but you finished it only because you started it. Or, gambling more money to try to make up for lost bets. Gambling is an addiction, so uh, it's a problem, okay? Or how about investing additional energy and time into a friendship that's one sided and proven unlikely to change course? Or how about staying in a romantic relationship where values are misaligned and needs aren't being met because you've been together for so long already? Now, right? I mean, look, stick it to a hobby you dislike because you've already spent the money on supplies. These are examples of sunk cost fallacy. Owning a house, man. I was having this discussion with Meta just this morning. Sunk cost fallacy. Like owning a house. You own a house, man. Things are going to break. You're going to have to repair things. You keep, you know, putting money into that house. Uh, well, it's a house. Things break. Like in life, things break. You can repair them. You can not repair them. But to say that Second Life is a sunk cost fallacy when he himself had not put any money into it, whatever, no payment info on file. And so that's a folly. But the real diagnosis of using that particular phrase, yeah, I've already made some notes because, as I said, this really got to me. Let me find my notes. Let's see. Okay. I wrote a lot of notes. I mean, it was just bear with me. You can go away and come back later if you can't stand waiting or can't stand hearing me. You could just come back later. Whatever. So, yeah, I found it. I found what I wrote, and I, I need to breathe a lot. Okay. So, with him using the phrase sunk cost fallacy, that's defensive. It's a cognitive defense. And he's trying to avoid future regret by preemptively labeling Second Life as a quote unquote trap. So it's like a way to justify disengagement while sounding rational. And it's not SL's fault. It is not the fault of SL. Like, this is something that one cannot blame SL for. And that really got to me. For as much as there is like realism, like the realist mentality when it comes to SL and Linden Lab on this channel, we also know that there are situations to where it simply is not the fault of SL, nor is it the fault of Linden Lab. In this particular instance, it is absolutely the case. This person, he just he blamed other things outside of his scope instead of realizing internally and then speaking about them externally in such a way to where he, I guess, comes to his own truth of that he just doesn't know how to connect with people, right? Regardless of how much he wanted to connect, which he did. And then when he was welcomed and he saw the group dynamics and the more inner workings of SL and people and stuff, that he realized that maybe he doesn't know how to connect. Because all these offlines to me, that his exit wasn't about me personally, nor was it about the group. It wasn't even about SL. It was about his own limits. I mean, me and the others, we extended genuine inclusion. We welcomed, we gave space, and we made no moves that would signal exclusion, right? Uh, and with these offlines, it seems that once he got close enough to feel the weight of our group, and how, like, yeah, we are for real and stuff, that it does, kind of involve being present and a commitment and, yeah, integrity, and an effort. Then he kind of, uh, yeah, just didn't want anything to do with us at all. And this is like in the span of like a week. A week. This is how quickly it changed. He wasn't pushed out or anything, quite the opposite. But he opted out because he just couldn't deal with actually connected with people, which is the number one reason as to why people choose Second Life in the first place. It's about the people. It's about the people. We all know that's true. It's about the people. It's about that connection. In all of his offlines, it's like a soft exit. And it shows it's all wrapped up in rationalizations. But however he has illusioned himself to think or to come across, they don't actually rewrite the fact that we offered him access, you know, in inclusiveness. And he like, just just couldn't cope with it. He disengaged. And I'm not responsible for that. Nor is the group responsible for that. Nor is Second Life responsible for that. This is not SL's fault. This is not the fault of Second Life. I'm going to say that one more time. This is not the fault of Second Life, okay? It is rare for me to say that, but I'm speaking it now because it's true. And he this person, he like diagnosed, like, oh, I've explored my possibilities within Second Life, like diagnosed, uh rationalized and withdrew, all in a limited amount of time, literally, like a couple of days. And that's beyond flakiness. That's like a boundary response to connection intensity. Like he kind of like touched the edge of that boundary, right? Like his own boundary, and saw the commitment on the other side and was like, oh, it's too much. And then chose to detach himself from that, detach himself from something that he proclaimed, actually declared that he wanted, that he knew that he needed in his life: social connection, right? And he has an opportunity, a welcomed opportunity, and it gets too real for him. And so he prefers to detach. He prefers to blame the platform that offers such a connection. He prefers to blame the generational gap, colonists aging, you know, because this dude's 23 years old. Um, the saying, again, exploring all possibilities within Second Life. You know, claiming that within like a time span of 3 months, that's either delusional or dismissive. But either way, it's an exit. It's uh, it's just an exit. Like, yep, okay, which it's impossible. It's impossible. And a Second Life is not a game as we know, and it's not a game you finish. It's like a virtual world you build in either by yourself or with others. And this is building beyond prims. This is building, like friendships and connections and involvement, all these things. What he did, he browsed. He browsed. And personally, like, I haven't gone over these offlines and analyzing them. I firmly do think that it wasn't about SL at all. It wasn't even like about the in-world group at all. It was about him and his own avoidance of effortful engagement. He couldn't cope. That was something he couldn't do, even given an easy opportunity, a welcome opportunity. He couldn't. And 3 months, no payment info on file, no real presence. Yeah, that's not sunk cost. That's rehearsal. You know, like SL isn't a threat. He just didn't like what he saw or how he saw himself within SL. He didn't like that. And I understand that his personal isolation and his situation, yes, that's real, right? Um, but obviously, perhaps it's a detachment that he chooses, um, because he went from mode A to mode B all under like 78 hours. He was gung ho. He was, you know, sending me positive offlines and, like chatty and stuff with me. And now it's like this morning I get those offlines. Man, it all just seems a bit rehearsed, like a rehearsed presence, and then he just exits and uses these reasons that are, well, they're just they're 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 just well, they just don't make sense. They're false. And he frames withdrawal as rational. It's not. It's not. You know, like he's not emotional about it. And I think the issue was that, um, for me also in the offlines, was that he's only willing to contribute when it serves his interests, not when it builds connections, but when it builds his interest. Like, if something catches my eye, then I'll make an effort to participate. But for now, I'm comfortable just being a selective lurker. This, the group, this channel, the whole reality of a second life. I mean, what I have tried to build up over the years does not include this. If this does not include this kind of mentality at all, it does not. It does not. Right? Mm-mm. Um, being, saying that Second Life. is signing up for another game of sunk cost fallacy. That, yeah, you know, even within the realist group here on this channel, yeah, that's look, we've all made choices, and we think those choices that we've made about Second Life are worth it because compared to other things in this world, we still do have control of our Second Life. Um, but anyway, maybe that's, yeah, I'm not going to get into that directly right now, but I'm sure those of you that's been in SL for a while, you get what I'm saying. And, saying that he's come to his own conclusion that Second Life is a virtual world best suited for the older generations, and that he believes they are the ones who will decide the fate of a historic social experiment. Gen Z may join in, but he doesn't think that they're going to be capable of reigniting new interest into an increasingly aging product such as Second Life. Now that's not a hit at Linden Lab. That's a hit at all of us. That's contributed to Second Life, as in logging in, shopping, going to clubs, building. I mean, he's taken a swipe at every single user in Second Life by saying that. By saying that. Now we do know that there are young people around his age in Second Life already. They've got their own little communities that are highly questionable. They do things that I don't understand or whatever, but I've accepted that. They are a part of SL. They are making SL how they want to, right? Really, they connect with each other and all this stuff, right? There are other communities in Second Life that are well known to be kind of out there, that are well known that is highly questionable. But we as Second Life users, we all accept all the differences and all the crazy and all the highly questionable and stuff. We all accept that, right? Because SL is what you make it. And this person didn't even give SL a chance, didn't give the rest of us a chance. So I want to point something else out too. Let me look at my notepad. I want to make a little comparison. Um, about connection, right? Being social and connecting with people. Now, if you've been on this channel long enough, you know about my story living in England for 16 years in an abusive marriage. I got married when I was 23, okay? Um, and I lived in isolation, self censorship. I had adapted to suppressing my expressions just to be safe, for almost half of my adult life. It was a really toxic, bad, crappy situation, right? I'm not saying. I mean, there were some good points, obviously. However, it was the bad points that damaged my mental health the worst, right? But I survived and I chose to relearn social connection. I rebuilt a presence through effort, and I just kept going on, because I knew it was important. I had to reclaim my voice. I had to I had to do it. No one else is going to do it for me, right? And if I knew that if I didn't, then I would not be alive today. I didn't blame others. I mean, just, I just spoke. I was real. I put it out there, and it's been 8 years and I'm still trying to, like help people and be like, yeah, hey, being social is important and all of this stuff in a way that will use the thing that we all have in common, and that's second life, right? The reality of second life. The things that people don't want to talk about. The things that people just want to, avoid because it's all, oh, whatever. Well, yeah, this channel is not about that. You can't like uh, help rebuild yourself, or you can't um, expect sincerity from others in a virtual world where you fail to comprehend the reality of those others, of human behavior, and the reality of that virtual world itself. It just doesn't work that way. Um, there was some other things that this person had said, um, that made me and another group member that was present at the time, we were kind of shocked. The What he had stated that he agreed with was, it was an anti thing. Okay, I'm not going to say exactly what it was, but it was one of those things that, yeah, it usually ends up on a manifesto. No joke. I'm serious. It was a recent shooter. I can't remember which one. Yes, I think it was the yeah, it was the shooter that uh it was like Minnesota. It was the Catholic Church shooter. The ones who shot kids. It was in his manifesto about well, as to the reason why he shot those kids. That's all I'm going to say. Yeah. I spoke my mind, and about how, yeah, I don't agree with that. And Jack did his part, saying that, well, you know uh it children and kids, they're like a sign of hope, right? I mean, life is precious. um yeah, so I'd say that when it comes to group values, that's one of the things that really does not align, really. I mean, but it's also one of those things that, okay, well, that's that person's point of, worldview. Okay, well, it yeah, that we that really, that's just like a physical whatever. I mean, but no, 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 no. See, I thought it was something that could be like excluded, or like, sort of like politics or something. Like, you could still get on with people, you could have different politics and stuff, but this particular thing here, it adds to the whole mentality of feudalness of the future. And the realist group is not about that. We do all have some hope, you know. Um, but we all also are not in any delusion that things are perfect as they are now in any regard, in Second Life and in the world, you know. So the difference, despite all my, despite when my life exploded, I still chose connection. And this person, they're in a stagnation mode and they're choosing detachment. And I didn't like have, um, I mean, I had to rebuild my life over literally with nothing. And I mean, yeah, I didn't like materialistic things, but like I had nothing. When I got back to the States, like no self identity. Uh, I didn't see my voice as my own. I didn't trust myself, all the things, but yet I still chose connection because I knew before I could connect with other people, I had to connect with myself because you you can't connect with another person if you aren't even able to connect with yourself. I chose to do the hard work. I chose to do the effort. I chose because for me it was about surviving. It was literally about life or death. Literally. But this person, it's a rehearsal, isn't it? That's what it comes across as to me. It's a rehearsal. And it's like, you know, why are you choosing to detach? It's like you have an opportunity, but I mean you're so young, but you've already destined yourself and the world to failure. And personally, I don't want to be around people like that, and I don't because it's not good for my own mental health. And in saying all of that, in that comparison, I'm not asking for pity, and I'm not like tagging the difference uh, out of spite or anything. I mean, I'm just pointing out that I earned my connection with myself. I earned that, right? It was hard, man. It was really, really hard. I mean, dealing with people for me, it is difficult, obviously, because I'm making this live stream right now about a person that just totally affected me to the point to where I've had to make this live stream. This person, he kind of sampled it just enough and then retreated. Those offlines hurt. They hurt. They hurt. I'm a 49-year-old woman, and I'm being told those offlines by a 23-year-old dude. Think about that. You just think about that for a minute. Just think about that. While you're thinking about it, uh, yeah, you could be sure to hit the like button because, yeah, you need to. But think about that. So now I actually wrote up a response to his offlines. Um, that I could put in a note card and send to him, but I've debated on whether or not I actually should do it. Meadow had a really good piece of advice, you know, and I'm thinking of doing that. I'm not going to say what it is, but I think I'm just going to do that. But I just need to get all this out and process it. And this is what I do. This is what I do on this channel, right? And if you don't like it, then well, obviously you haven't been here long enough to appreciate anything that happens on this channel. Right. So this was what I was going to send to him on a note card, but I'm not going to. I'm just going to say it here. I mean, I wrote it down. I thought like, writing it down would be, helpful. You know how you can like write things down and journal and stuff, but it just affected me more. Like it was just the shock of how quickly things turned, the shock of the falsisms of his own perceived reality, and just, oh wow, I just couldn't let it go. So this is a note card that these are the words I was going to say to him. I'm not sending this to reopen anything. I'm writing it to process what happened, because the because those offlines and your behavior wasn't just confusing, but it had an impact. You made a choice to inject yourself into the group. You declared interest, presence, and future involvement. We responded with inclusion based on your words and your actions. That was a mutual exchange. But now I can say with certainty, you do not belong in this group, not because of who you are, but because of how you operate. You detached from the purpose of the group. You don't hold the same values when it comes to connecting with people. For us, connection is effortful, intentional, and worth it. For you, it seems only worth it when it serves your interest. And that's that's not um, that's not any kind of alignment, or that's that's just rehearsal. Your exit wasn't neutral. It came with a generational distancing, existential detachment, and a soft manifesto logic that framed the group space and SL as outdated. Whether you meant to or not, that left some pretty heavy residue. It affected people. And I won't be responded any further, not out of anger, but because I need to distance myself from harm. I cannot subject myself to unpredictability masked as neutrality. I will not open myself for further engagement to such disconnect and detachment. I don't want to be involved in any capacity with someone that says things like, if something catches my eye, that I'll make an effort to participate. But for now, I'm comfortable just being a selective lurker. That's narcissistic. That actually reminds me. Wait, now I'm side thinking. That actually reminds me of my ex abuser, of an ex husband. If it didn't serve his interest, then it was either stupid or boring or whatever negativity you could add to it. If it didn't serve his interest, then it was wrong, and he wanted no part of it. That's narcissistic, and it's also a trait of antisocial behavior. I don't want and I don't want anything to do with that. All right, going back to the response that I had drafted up. Uh, I did say, I did propose, if you ever want to engage with clarity and presence and respect for the impact you have, maybe there's a path, but for right now, this is closure. And, I think I don't have that same thought that if you ever want to engage with clarity, like if you change your mind, or if you know see the wrongness in how you acted and things you said, I don't even want to open that door again, because look, I cannot fix this person. The group cannot fix this person. It is not my responsibility, nor is it the group's responsibility. Um, and this person's rupture, it's not mine to repair. It's not the group's responsibility to repair. It's all on him. He needs to choose to help himself, to fix himself. There was an opportunity, but he 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 made that exit. Now, this detachment, it has consequences. Let me tell you about those consequences. He entered a space where people were showing up with effort and vulnerability and intention. He has been watching this channel, he says, for a long time. So he knew exactly what he was wanting to be involved with. He knew exactly. But when he exited, when he chose to disengage, especially after speaking with a future tense, uh, going to be supportive of the group, looking forward to this, like having ideas about the group, all of this stuff, right? But and then you wanting out of it, placing blame on SL and the platform and all this other stuff. All of that, it left residue. One group member highly concerned, the other group member highly fucking pissed off. And me, I'm vocalizing all of this, right? All of it. People felt it. Like, we responded to this dude as someone who wanted connection, right? And then when he pulled away, it was disruptive. Look, it's so disruptive that it affected me, where I had to like sleep most of my Friday away to process it, to like rest, because like I was trying to make sense of it all. Like all this thinking, and it wore me out. It affected me. Detachment has consequences. Now, I'm not saying that he is a malicious person. What I am saying is that his actions have impact. And if you want to be part of any space, either online or offline, you need to realize that what you say and how you behave makes an impact. Don't just rationalize it. You need to actually understand that everything that you do, that you say, everything has consequences. Life has consequences. And I do wonder that if he's like kind of, thinking, it just feels safer to detach or rehearse detachment than actually risking connection. Because if that is what is going through this young man's brain, then nobody can fix that problem. Life hurts. Life sucks. Believe me, I really, really do know. And I'm sure a lot of you on this channel knows. If you don't make life better for yourself, and if you just choose to hide and detach from the goodness that is offered to you because, oh, the risk of getting hurt, then all I can say is please get some professional help. Please. You're not helping yourself or doing yourself any favors by rationalizing or what you think is rational thinking, good opportunities that come across your life away. That's not doing you no favors. I will say that if this young man of 23 represents the larger part of the youth today, then I hope I'm dead by the time any of them are old enough to hold any political office. So, um, I mean, I could go on and on, breaking this down, but I've been doing this for like an hour and 5 minutes. And if you haven't got the point by now, then I don't know what to tell you. I guess rewind it and watch again. Um, but I will end this live stream by saying this. I have decided to respond to this detachment, this, oh my, wait, hold on. Give me a minute. I need to think. Wait a minute. I don't want to lose my temper and I don't want to be irrational. I don't want to be over emotional. I mean, I can't say, I mean, yes, I am being a bit emotional because this is fucked up shit. And it's not something new. This is not anything new. For whatever reason, either me or the channel, you know, attracts these type of people that they just can't handle things that we can. We're a good group. I mean, shit. I mean, the people that make up the group, they've been on the channel for literally years. Like Nikki's been on the channel for what, 3 years maybe? And then Meadow, then Surrey. I mean, it's like, ugh. And the in world group gives people a chance so they can connect, with each other. And because, well, with the channel and with me, you already know what you're going to get. It's not one thing or the other, it's just people, that make effort and getting together and doing things. It's about the people. And I don't think that's designated to any age. That's just humanity. That's just a one of humanity. And I guess for some people it's a choice, and for other people, whatever. But what it comes down to is this person wanted proximity without presence, wanted declarations without durability. And basically, he didn't give people a chance because he didn't give himself a chance. And that was made clear to me uh, quite structurally. Connection isn't instant, it's earned through effort, discomfort, and staying long enough to see the good. He didn't. Uh, so maybe there is some goodness there in him, but uh, uh, it just hasn't grown up yet. It hasn't fully matured. So, I mean, look, he's 23. The brain isn't fully developed until you're 25. But yeah, anyway, I've decided that he doesn't need to be in the group. And I'm just going to kick him out. I'm just going to kick him out. Um, I've fought with this all, you know, all day, and when I was awake, and then I'm telling you, man, I'm telling you. Uh, yeah. Anyway, that's it for this live stream. If you like it, like it. If you don't, then hit the dislike button and fuck off. That's gonna be it for me. Bye.